Okay, so this is Algebra 2, 1.5, Part 2. I just explained vertical stretch shrink, horizontal stretch shrink. Please pause the video. You try this. Okay, y equal to square root of x. That's a parent function look like something like this. Y equal to square root of x look like this. If you go 1 to the right, you go 1 up. Okay, because square root of x. If you plug in x equal to 1, square root of 1 is 1. So you 1, 1. Of course, if you go 4, square root of 4 becomes 2. So you have 4, 2. Okay. For overall shape, you should know it looks something like that. So it's all matter is can x see? Multiply by 3. So you should know, okay, this is a stretch shrink. X can see 3. Yes. Should be horizontal. X can see 1/3. Yes. Should be horizontal. X can see 3? No. It should be a vertical. X can see 1/3? No. It should be a vertical. Okay? Vertical is easier. 3 bigger than 1, stretch by 3. 1/3, 0.33 less than 1, shrink. Smaller number just shrink by 1/3. Vertical is just straightforward. I mean, just interpret it as it is. Done. Horizontal, a little tricky. 3 is a big number. So you want to say stretch. Horizontal, you gotta go opposite. Should be shrink by, flip it. Shrink by 3 doesn't make any sense. 3 is 3 over 1. Flip it. Shrink by 1/3. 1/3 is a smaller number, 0.33 less than 1. So you want to say shrink, you gotta go opposite. Stretch by, flip it. Okay, and the graph accordingly, horizontal x value will change, vertical y value will change. Okay. Okay, so you should be ready for such this. Describe the dilation, this parent graph, then graph the function. Okay, of course, parent graph is without absolute value, without 1/2. So parent graph should be y equal to square root of x, which is just V shape. Okay. 1, 1, minus 1, 1, 0, 0. That's this. What happened with the 1/2? We multiplied it. So you should know it's a vertical stretch, it's a stretch or shrink. X can see 1/2, yes or no? No. X is locked up by absolute value. X cannot see 1/2. That means it has nothing to do with X. It should be a vertical. Now, next question is stretch or shrink? 1/2 is a small number, 0.5 less than 1. Should be vertical, shrink by 1/2. So how are you going to graph it? Y value multiplied by 1/2. Y value multiplied by 1/2. So your graph would look like something like this. And you're going to connect that. So you're going to graph horizontally, vertically, you're going to squeeze it. So that's going to be your new graph. Okay. Compress is another word of a shrink. So we got point to here, okay? The graph of f of x is shown on the grid. If the graph of f of x is, okay, that is f of x, is translated 3 to the left, 1 up, and reflected in the x-axis to create g of x. Which function best represents g of x in terms of f of x? Okay, so strangely enough, this graph doesn't do much. They gave you graph, but it doesn't help you to solve the question. All I'm trying to say is you don't need that graph. So here, f of x, translate 3 units to the left. 3 units to the left. So you have two choices. Do you want f of x 3 units to the left plus 3, or f of x 3 to the left, minus 3. So left is in terms of x. It's x-axis. Okay. So do you want x to see 3, or do you want x not to see 3? Okay. Left is x. So you want x to see 3. So that's not good. That's going down by 3. You don't want that. So f of x plus 3, because you remember x is a weirdo. You don't want to do x minus 3 here, then it's going to go right. 3 unit to the left, that's how you write. 1 unit up is above y. So you don't want x to see 1. So you should write like f of x plus 3, 1 unit up plus 1. So that's left 3, 1 unit up. Below so far like that. Okay, now tricky part. Reflected in x-axis. So you need to know, okay, how do we apply reflection over x-axis? X cannot see minus multiply, so be careful. That's reflection over x-axis. X has to be multiplied to entire. Entire is y. You see that minus is in front of the whole thing. If you put minus in front of x, x can see it. That's a reflection of y-axis. So you have to multiply minus 1 to whole thing. X shouldn't see the minus 1. Reflection in the x-axis. X cannot see minus 1. What does that mean? You have to multiply minus 1 to whole thing. Minus 1, you have to multiply minus 1 to whole thing. Minus 1, so that's a reflection over x-axis. So if you multiply minus 1 here, it's minus f of x plus 3, minus 1 times plus 1, minus 1. That is the answer. Oh. Okay. Okay, next question. The graph of the quadratic function f of x is shown on the grid. If the graph of f of x is translated 5 to the right. Okay, so take a look at the current graph. It may look a little blurry here. This point, I think it's a minus 1, comma 2. That's a vertex. If you go 5 units to the right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, we end up at 4. 3 units down, 1, 2, 3. So new vertex here will look like a 4, comma minus 1. Okay, and graph would look something like this. You're gonna go down from here like that. So they're asking what's gonna be new graph. Well, you start from y equal to x squared, of course. That's gonna be graph like this, going up. You have to reflect it over x-axis. So your graph would look like something like minus x squared. So that's gonna graph look like something like this. Okay. But this one, we end up at 4 and minus 1, which means you gotta go right by 4, down by 1. Well, once you reflect over x-axis, you gotta go right by 4, down by 1. So that's easy. From here, right by 4 should be y equal to minus, right by 4 should be x minus 4. Be careful. You need a parenthesis here. Minus outside, x has to see 4. Down by 1 is just minus 1. So where is it? This guy. Okay. The graph g of x is obtained by translating the graph of f of x based on the graph, which equation can be used to describe g of x. Okay, f of x is f of x is the absolute value of x. So if you look at it, you're going to move left by 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. Left by 3, up by 4. Very easy. Left by 3, x plus 3. X has to see the number. Okay. Up by 4 plus 4. So, oh, they want you to use f of x though. Okay. So that's the equation of g of x, but that they don't want that. They want you to go from f of x. Same thing. Left by 3, you want x to see 3. So it should be f of x plus 3 inside the parentheses. Up by 4, you have to do plus 4. Yep, that's the one. So this one, they are using in general way. F of x, you're just using general expression. Okay.